Divinity is the state of being. You are divine. You are an individuation of divinity. You are a singularization of the singularity. You are an individual expression of God. That is the state of being we're talking about. When you are clear who you are, when you are clear that the answer to the first question, who am I, is I am an expression of divinity. I am an individuation of the divine. Then you have suddenly something to, how would I put it, to aim for, shoot for, a target, if you please, that you're throwing the darts at. And you get to say to yourself, is what I'm saying now, doing now, being now, how I'm acting now, my highest expression, my highest understanding of divinity? If not, why am I doing it, saying it, or being it? Why am I doing that? Why am I saying that? Why am I being that? Or to put it this way, life's magic question. This is life's magic question. You may want to have this question tattooed on your left wrist. And whenever you are facing any dilemma at all, any choice at all, any decision at all, about anything really, maybe a decision about what you're eating, what you're putting on, what you're wearing, how you're doing your hair, what you're saying, where you're going, who you're marrying, who you're not marrying, whatever, the job you take. Whenever you face any decision whatsoever, you can ask yourself life's magic question. Here it comes. Write it down. What does this have to do with the agenda of my soul? What does this have to do with the agenda of my soul? I promise you I wouldn't be in the room if I wasn't clear what I'm doing has to do with the agenda of my soul. I promise you. I don't have any more patience with cocktail parties, as an example, or other meaningless functions or activities, even though they may be fun, but they don't have anything to do with the agenda of my soul, except insofar as having fun and bringing joy into my life is part of the agenda of my soul. Fair enough. Life isn't supposed to be serious and without any kind of fun, but somehow or another, there must be a direct connection between the choices I'm making in every golden moment of now and the agenda of my soul. And the agenda of my soul is the same as the agenda of your soul. You don't have an agenda that's different from mine. I don't have an agenda that's different from yours. We do not have 8 billion individual agendas. The agenda of the soul is the same for every living sentient being. My understanding is that all sentient beings move into physical life with the exact same agenda. And the agenda is to demonstrate, to express, to declare, and to experience who we really are. Or if you please, using other language, to put God into physical form, that divinity may know itself experientially and not just conceptually. That our opportunity as sentient beings is to move the expression of divinity from conceptualization to experience. It's one thing to conceive of myself as something. It's another thing to express and experience myself as that. And the example that I use that everyone, we're all adults in the room, that everyone can understand is human sexuality. there was a time in my life when I was in my adolescence, in my pre-pubescent years and the years immediately following, when I knew myself to be a sexual being. I began to understand that that's what was true about me. So I had a concept of myself as male and as a sexual male, that is, a male who had sexual feelings, desires, and proclivities. I knew that, but I hadn't yet experienced or expressed it as part of my physical reality. There was a huge difference between my concept about myself and my experience of myself. You understand? I use that example because everyone can relate. Well, it's the same thing with spirituality. We know who we are, but we are not applying it. It has not become a functional reality in our life. I knew at 12 that I was a sexual being, but it hadn't become a functional reality in my life. So I have known myself as divine, that is, as an expression of divinity, but I have not experienced that aspect of myself. The function of life is to move from concept to experience in the expression of divinity. In one sentence, voila, that's it. Why? Why not just get the guy, get the girl, get the car, get the job? Why bother with that? Once you experience it, even for a moment, you'll understand why. It's kind of like sexuality. After you experience it for the first time, you suddenly understand. Yes, I've had my moments. And you know what's interesting? Almost all of you have. Almost all of you have had at least one moment in your life, and for many of you, more than one, where you felt for that moment or for that hour or for that day or for that period of time, now that's who I really am. Now that's what it feels for divinity to be flowing through me, as me, right here, right now. How many of you have ever had a moment in your life when you just felt that you were just, just unabashedly, we just admit it to ourselves, we don't go around bragging about it, but inside of yourself you realize that's about as high an experience of who I am that I'm ever going to have in this lifetime. How many of you have ever had an experience like that? Of course. Of course. And it's often when we do something with and for another, when we find ourselves, right, as they say in the there's a reason they use the phrase. There's a reason that we use the phrase rising to the occasion. That he was just rising to the occasion. And there have been times in your life when the chips were down, if you please, when it was all on the line, when somebody needed something from you that you didn't even think you had to give or knew how to give. But somehow or another you rose to the occasion and you became that and you offered that and you gave that and you were that and you stepped back from yourself. Again, you didn't brag about it, you didn't boast about it, you didn't tell anyone else about it, but you went to your room by yourself and you went, yes, yes, I was there. I was there for them. Whoa. And once you know yourself as that, all you want is more of it. Unless you don't. It's up to you. But yes, I've experienced that. And I've actually quantified it. That is, I've decided what it looks like for me, what it feels like. I've defined states of being that represent that for me, and that therefore allow me to know when I've stepped into it again. and when I've stepped into it again. So I don't even have to wonder, is this what it feels like? Is that what it's like? I've actually become very clear now. And with the clarity that I've come to, I can actually go for that. That is, I can strive for, I can step into it and strive for it specifically in any given moment of my life. So can you. All you have to do is decide what that looks like to you. It's not a decision you make once and for all. It's a decision you make, and you can remake it and change your mind about it anytime you wish. But once you make the decision for this moment now, you will know what you're going for. You will know what your objective is in every individual moment, and you'll be able to measure the moment. You'll be able to measure the moment and say, was I that? Was I that in this moment? And if not, why not? What stopped me from being that in this moment? Now, I got to tell you, when you start stringing those moments together, I mean stringing a lot of them together, not just one every 3 or 4 years, but one every 3 or 4 months, or one every 3 or 4 weeks, or one every 3 or 4 days, or one every 3 or 4 minutes. When you start stringing those moments together, one after the other, after the other, after the other, we're talking about a life that can touch millions.